Welcome to week 20 of my self-important Magic the Gathering show. This week is Naya, the color combination of red, green, and white. First things first, we have an update from last week. You might recall that I was having trouble getting mass disruption in my decks. Well, I remembered that Mizium Mortar and Delayed Blast Fireball existed, and while they're not great, they're at least something, so they are now in the deck. In the Haste Makes Wealth deck, I took out Academy Manufactor and that Rabbit Battery to make room for them. I figured that the Rabbit Battery wasn't super necessary, and that the Academy Manufacturer wasn't really helping. Like, clue tokens are nice for additional card draw, and food if I need life gain, but I wasn't really I don't think I really had anything that cared if I sacrificed tokens other than treasures. And I wasn't really making tokens other than treasures, so that's gone. And then in Mana Burn is back. I removed all of the stacks pieces except for this one, because I didn't want to punish people for not tapping their lands, I guess. Let's see. Let's go into the history. Added remove cards. See, it's right here. War's Toll. I was thinking about removing Lord of Pain and Karavik the Merciless, but that was obviously stupid. So I took out Tectonic Instability. Whenever a land comes into play, tapped all lands they control. Took out Citadel of Pain. And then Power Surge, because those were basically the same thing. And then the War's Toll, which was basically just Tectonic Instability, but more so. And then I also decided to add Ragadraga, Gorgut's boss, because he makes Yarlock slightly stronger. That middle ability doesn't matter. And then we can make another creature bigger if we cast a big spell. And then Sarith, the Viper's Fang, to have another untapper that also protects all of our untapped creatures. And then when we do attack with a creature that can tap, they gain Death Touch. So so we did that. And I'm much happier with those changes. So on to this week. As you can see, I did my land, my ramp, and my removal ahead of time this time. And that's where I remembered Mizium Mortars and Delayed Blast Fireball existing. And then we have our 11 pieces of ramp, 12 pieces of removal, and that's not enough, but we'll get around to that. Because our commander is Wayta, Trainer Prodigy. A red, a green, and a white for a 1/5 human warrior with haste, and also has 2 and a green tapped, and we can do that right away because of haste. Target creature you control fights another target creature. This ability costs 2 less to activate if it targets 2 creatures you control. So we can start a little fight club with our own creatures. If a creature you control being dealt damage causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So we're going to go in here, and then O-tag. That's a syntax string that I haven't used before. Enrage. Enrage. I don't think I've put that in decks before now. T. No, we're going to go minus T instant and minus T sorcery for that. Enrage is that whenever they take damage, a thing happens. But not everything has the enrage keyword, so that's why we use the O tag, so they'll have been tagged with this. So we have Apex Allosaur. It is a 10/10 dinosaur for 8. And then when it enters, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. And then when it is dealt damage, it fights up to one target creature you don't control. Well, it's a 10/10 for 8. I like that. And then it does count as removal. Bellowing Aegisar. When it's dealt damage, you put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. That's good. Blazing Sunseal. The creature gets +1/+0 for each opponent you control. Jeez. Whenever equipped creature is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target, and the equip cost is 4. But we're in green. No, sorry. Boros does the same thing, but it also get first strike, so it can win combats. Brash Taunter, that's the big boy of this. It can also fight for 2 and a red. It has indestructible. That's important. Bloodhatch Nantuko. It makes tokens. We're not gonna do that. Cacophodon, when it's dealt damage, you untap target permanent. That'll untap our commander. So that's good. So we can do our commander shenanigans over and over again. This does damage to each player. We are each player, so I'm not a fan of that. When this is done, dealt damage, it untaps. That doesn't seem important. Donna Noble doesn't have to take the damage herself. She can just be soulbound to another creature. And when that one takes damage, Donna Noble deals damage to stuff. That's pretty cool. Dromad Purebed, that gains life. We don't care about that. Druid's Call is an enchant creature. When an enchanted creature is dealt damage, a controller puts that many 1/1 green scroll creature tokens into play. That is interesting. But again, we're probably going... That's better than this, because at least we can put it on like a big 10/10, supposedly. But we're going to skip that for now. That's a source of opponent's controls. Whenever a creature is dealt damage, its controller may exile that many cards from the top of their library, and they can play those cards until the end of the next turn. That will be uncontrollable by us. I'm not a fan. Flump, we draw cards. An opponent gets to draw cards too, but that's fine. It's fine. 2 damage to target opponent? No. It's also very small. That's an opponent controls. That deals damage to us. That much damage to target player or planeswalker. We like that. Also gives reach. That's not insignificant. Fungusaur starts off as a 2/2. That starts off as a 2/2. This creates that many insects, but again, it's very small. Hungering Hydra enters with X counters on it, and it can't be blocked by more than one creature, so it has reverse menace. And then when it's dealt damage, you put that many +1/+1 counters on it, but it has to survive the damage. But that's good. I like that, because we can make it big enough to survive fights. Whenever this thing takes damage, it deals that much damage to any target. That's good. We gain life. We're not going to worry about that. This thing's too weak. This is combat damage specifically, which fight damage is not. Damage to us, that's not good. Gain that much life, we're still not going to bother. This only creates 1 sapling. It deals 5 damage to target creature and opponent controls. Well, that... You know what? That's good. It's only a 2/2 though, but maybe we can get it bigger. This is only a 1/1. Actually, maybe we'll leave this out because it's only a 2/2. We're going to want things that are natively big. Apparently at least a 3/3. So this thing is a 4/4 on the other side. Magma Pummeler, that's not good. Gain that much life. Like, if we need more creatures, we can come back to these two, but I think we'll be fine. Copies of Polyraptor are fine because they're at least 5/5s. We just got to be careful that we don't accidentally make any indeterminate infinites. So, like, damage upon on entering the battlefield. We don't want to do that. When this is dealt damage, you get a basic land card, but we're playing 3 colors and we're gonna have like 9 basics in the whole deck, so that's not good. You gain that much life. Okay, this gets +1/+1 counters instead of damage. That's important. Phyrexian Vindicator is that damage is prevented, and then it deals that damage to any other target. So these two are both good. That creates a 3/3, gain 2 life. Repercussion is awful for us considering what our job is, because whenever a creature is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to that creature's controller. No, 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 no. Not unless we have certain other things in on the battlefield, like a very specific other thing. But that's no. Dealt damage, draw a card. That's fine, because it's also a 4/5 for 4. Whenever a creature you control is dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on it. I'm gonna maybe board that. That's definitely something I can come back for. Actually, you know what? No, we're minusing it. I don't think I want it. Each opponent sacrifices a permanent. By the time this comes out, that's probably not as relevant as we'd like it to be. This gets 2 +1/+ counters, but it also starts really small, and it does not say instead. That much damage to us, that's bad. Screaming Nemesis can turn off life gain strategies, so that's worth it. That many tokens. This gets tokens. It has to survive, but at least it's a 4/4. We're not worried about slivers. Whenever it's dealt damage, it does that damage to target creature or player, which is probably any target. We just get 1 creature there. Whenever it's dealt damage, you put a token that's a copy of it, but it's only an O2, so that's a no thanks. Oh, this exiles stuff until this leaves, but I don't think that's good. No, because this deals that's silly. 3 damage to target opponent, but it's a 5/4 for 6. It's not. I don't like Stuffy Doll because you have to choose an opponent. This makes us gain life from radiation, which is funny. But I don't want to mill myself. True Fire Captain, that much damage to target player. Also has Mentor in case I ever attack. Proliferate. I mean, we do have some things that do +1/+1 counters, but we're not. It's like not the main thing. This creates creatures, sort of. Wall of Essence gains life. That's specifically dragons, but since this itself it's a dragon, that's good. This is the same thing but with dinosaurs, and it doesn't fly but has trample instead. And we do have more dinosaurs, so the wrathful raptors actually will have more hits. But the red dragon is still good. Zalto, Fire Giant Duke, Avengers into the dungeon. That seems like absolute garbage. So let's close this. Let's rename this to Enrage. Oh, right. Hold on. I already made an Enrage category. And make that the primary category. Now let's move stuff over. Select all. all. And then I think we got one piece of ramp that went over here. Oh no, that's right. The basic land one did not make it into this deck. So we got more pieces of removal. They're reusable removal, so that's good. So I'm just double checking. Yep, 12 pieces of removal, 11 pieces of ramp. And then we have 20 enrage things. And 18 of them are creatures. Let's see. Did I make an equipment category? Yes, I did. Okay, cool. Because we're going to throw the Blazing Sunsteel over into equipment. We're going to throw Blazing Sunsteel over into equipment. There we go. Because the rest of that should be the 18 creatures that care about getting hurt. And that puts us at 81. Let's see, what else? There are two Chroma, because we want Chroma's Memorial. Costs 7, but it's 7 generic. Creatures in control have flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste. Oh, that doesn't give indestructible. I thought it did. LOL. So we want a Chroma Vision of Ixidor. No, no, we don't. We don't want that one. What am I thinking of? I'm not thinking of a Chroma then. I'm thinking of the other one. T Angel MV equals 8. Avacyn, Angel of Hope. There we go. Other permanents control have indestructible. That's expensive, but worth it if we get it out. So have indestruct. Does anything else do that for us? Commanders have indestructible. Other legendary permanents have indestructible. Commanders, horses, other knights, artifacts. Equipped creatures, other creatures with flying, although that costs, I guess that does cost less, doesn't it? Nope, that costs 8. That costs 7, yeah, that costs less by 1. Lands are indestructible, that's funny. Treefolk and forests are indestructible, that's neat. I'm just discovering cards now. So yeah, so just that Avacyn. So now we want T equipment O indestruct. So we want Darksteel Plate, we want the Mithril Coat, we want Cauldron Complete, we want the Hammer, we want the Shield of Cauldra, we want the Shadow Spear to remove Hexproof Indestructible. Also gives our thing lifelink, that's always nice. Then we'll go Hex EP. Because we want to target our stuff, we don't want our opponents to target our stuff. So we're getting the Swiftfoot Boots, but not the Lightning Greaves. And I like the Mirror Shield, I don't care what anybody says. The Mask of Avacyn, the symbol of our church. I don't know about these two. We'll come back to those two later. But all of that stuff is going into equipment. Select all. Avacyn is not staying in equipment, but that was just faster. And then nothing got added to removal. Nothing got added to ramp. And then just auto you back into protection. So we are going to go -T instant again and -T sorcery one more time for O fights. Because we're going to see what cares about us fighting. Bear makes us fight. Apex Allosaur. That's already in the deck. Agatha's Champion. Nope, that fights when it enters. That fights. Boxing Ring. Create a treasure token only if something fought that turn. We like that. Beast creature fights. Can fight. The two Domries make stuff fight. Fight the blank fight. Foe Razor. Whenever a creature you control fights, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it at the end of the next end step. I like that. Actually, no, it's only 2. We'll come back to that. Hans Eriksson can fight our stuff. So that's cool. I like the Golden Guardian, sort of, because it can fight another thing, and if it loses the fight, we get this Golem Maker, but I don't think we're going to do that. Whenever you attack, you can have a thing fight you don't control. We're not here to fight things we don't control unless absolutely necessary. It fights a creature at random. I type fights or fight. I put in fights. After this, we're going to go back in there and do minus fights and then just fight. That chooses a player at random. The Trask can fight. There we go, Uvenwald Tracker, another fight enabler. So -O fights and O fight. That enters and fights. When this enters, you can have it fight. Cherished Hatchling can cause fights. Oh, Growthma is hilarious. Whenever this creature attacks, you may have it fight Growthma All-Devouring. When it leaves the battlefield, each player draws cards equal to the amount of damage dealt to Growthma this turn by creature sources they control. So, like, we can draw up to 8-ish. Well, I guess even if it goes into negatives, I think that's still damage it takes. But we can draw cards off of this just for fun. Just hilarious card draw. We just want to make sure that whatever we're fighting it with has indestructible, or is something we don't care about. Frontier Siege. Fights. Whenever one or more creatures you control fight or become blocked, draw a card. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 2 and either red or green. If you do, double target creature's power on the turn. That creature must be blocked with this combat defable. You know what? You can go in here. One other creature. Oh. Yeah, that's that weird combo with that terrible version of Maze of Ith. Don't worry about it too much if you don't know what I'm talking about. You may have it fight. Oh, if we were doing facing up, turning stuff face up, that'd be neat. Okay, so and that puts us at 96. And then we're going to move you up over here because we have a name. We have a name for this group. None of that went into ramp. Oh, Uwenwald Tracker is going to move over there. Always got to make sure stuff didn't go where I didn't want it to be. Oh, there we go. Boxing ring is over here. I want it over here. So we are calling this the Fight Club. Oh, right. I keep forgetting that I made these categories in advance. There it is. Make that the primary category. And then select all. Told all my jokes in advance. I guess you call these the Fight Club organizers. It's like makes sure everyone survives the fights. That's like a rigged fight. Finds the fighters. Yeah, you know, it all makes sense. There's one more card that goes in here. Pyrohemia. Because that is just a cheap way to get my enrage triggers. Ding. So, and then this one's just for giggles. We have no way to search up the pieces of Cauldron, but I'm just amused that on the off chance, where did the other piece, oh, Sword of Cauldron, it ends up in removal. There. Like that there's a greater than 0 chance we get all pieces of Cauldron out, and I don't care. That's funny to me. Let's go to types really quick. We have 23 creatures. I'm pretty happy with that. 1 enchantment. We have a lot of ramp, probably more ramp than we need. Technically we have removal at the wazoo. If anything, I'd want more ways to give myself my stuff permanent indestructible. Excuse me. I think... Okay, there's a non-bow card I want to put in here, but I don't know what it's called. Wait. Damage counters instead. That's a planeswalker type. If you would be... Oh, no, actually there's actually a different card. All damage that will be dealt to you is dealt to equipped creature instead. Boom. Because then we can put that on one of our indestructible creatures. Like, that's the best thing to put on Brash Taunter. There. So that Nombo thing, I saw that in someone else's video, but I'm going in my own way, I guess. As long as I'm very careful with stuff like Pyrohemia. Yeah, no, I like how I like how this deck turned out. I don't like that it only took me a half hour to build it, but that's how it goes. It just means we got to build more decks. So let's go up here. We already unlisted it. Don't talk about this deck. Let's capital all those letters. And then for here, you know the rules because it's all just a silly reference. Then we can go up here because I did set up a second deck that has the land, the ramp, and the removal all ready to go. We just need a T legend, T creature, color, RGW. Order CMC. So let's see what we got. We got Kaust, Eyes of the Glade. Whenever a creature control... Oh, that's turning face up stuff. There's a bunch of stuff of that now, but I don't know if I want to mess with it. But he's only 2. He's a 2/2 for 2 in 3 colors. That does make him neat because he's taking advantage of hybrid mana. Balin the Haymaker for counter synergies. I mean, this is the thing where, like, he costs 3, 4, 3. People are just going to blow him up. Like, you do not want this to get going. Dogmeat Ever Loyal. That's aura or equipment stuff. We're not messing with that either. This is a different tokens. Non-token creatures you control have create a token that's a copy of target coach. Hazazon, Desert Typal. That could be cool. Ginny Faye cares about cats and dogs, or at least the making of tokens thereof. Minsk, Beloved Ranger from Baldur's Gate. Sigurd, Jarl of Ravensthorpe from Assassin's Creed. Jetmir, Nexus of Revels, cares about you having a lot of stuff. Jacques de Ver, all your green creatures get slightly bigger butts. That's mildly interesting. Aragorn. I like that they made him a person of color. Anyone who doesn't like that, that's why I like that, because it ticks you off, and there's no reason why he can't be. Creates eggs, and those eggs turns into creatures when they die. +1/+1 counter nonsense. We already did +1/+1 counter nonsense on a different, when we were doing Bant. Kiri, talented sprout. Other plants and tree folks get +2/+0, and post-combat main phase, you recur a plant, tree folk, or land card. Kit Kanto, Mayhem Diva. She has Mayhem in her name, but no black in her color identity. That is interesting. She makes citizen creatures. And then you can tap untapped creatures to goad stuff. We're not going to mess with that. Mariski, Breaker of the Coil. I think that's a Johnny's brother. Your opponents can't cast spells during combat. That shuts off a couple of things. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, gold each creature that player controls. That's neat. That's a problem that, like, you can't let this hit once. Otherwise, it's going to repeatedly hit you because all of your stuff is goaded. Unless you yourself are sitting on a lot of vigilance. Whenever an enchanted creature attacks one of your opponents, whenever an aura you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, exile it, you can cast it. Oboon, Moldaya Ancestor, turns lands into elementals. Rin and Seri for the cat dog deck. Shalai and Hallar. Whenever one or more +1/+1 counters are put on a creature you control, they deal that much damage to target opponent. That at least is more than just dawdling around with your counters. Descana the Rage Mother. Draw a card for each creature you control with base power and toughness 2/2. Whenever one of them attacks, they turn into a 5/5. That's mildly neat. Whenever a creature attacks one of your opponents or a planeswalker they control, they get +2/+0 till end of turn. That's cool. Encourages and I mean, it's not a big encouragement though, but encourages them to attack your opponents. That creates rhinos, and then you populate. Uriel the Mist. Oh, that's Boggles or Bogles. We're not going to do that. Naya dragons. Multicolored creatures are slightly stronger. Okay, that's also Naya enchantments. Pantlaza for Naya dragon or dinosaurs, because yeah, just so you get free dragons. Voja, that's elves and wolves, which is interesting, but I don't care. That does stuff. Self-mill. Heavy the Allfather is indestructible if you have 4 more historic cards in your graveyard. And then you can recur legendary creatures, sort of. As long as Johan is sitting there, your other stuff has vigilance. There's Hazezon's old version. Boy, that's super expensive for a 2/4. And you have to wait a whole turn cycle to get your Sand Warriors. There's the Aetherdrift Samut, Rit the Awakener with the ability I don't care to read. The Boss is Confident, that's another new Capenna. I don't like Palladium Moors, because it's hexproof until it deals damage, but that's silly. Reveals the top card, and you get stuff. We're definitely going to do stuff with the Transformers later, after the 32 deck challenge. There's the big Dino. That used to be the Dino commander, but like put this in the 99, and then because Pantlaws is the better. Yuma, Proud Protector, that's this guy. He's protecting the plant people, I guess. The spell costs 1 less for each land in your graveyard. Okay, mildly interesting. When he enters or attacks, you may sacrifice land if you do draw a card. Whenever a desert card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, you get a Plant Warrior creature token with a reach. And then when this guy enters, you untap all of your lands, and then he can do a bunch of stuff. This is another color combination like Jun, where I don't have a whole lot of favorite ones. Like we could do the Bogles thing and try to Uriel the Miststalker, just to, you know, one hit kill people as quickly as possible. But I'm sure this deck is super solved, so whatever I make will not be as good as what exists. I actually think I like this one, where at least your +1/+1 counters are also pings on your opponent, so that's what we're going to do. We'll set that as our commander. So we're probably going to do, we're going to do our usual Selesnya +1/+1 counter nonsense. So those cards are going to go in here because we're not going to be remotely original. Just putting that out there. Stretching. I didn't bother to look to see if there were any partner with. Well, now that we have our commander, I'm going to search for partner with to see if there's any Naya partner with combinations. So, Amy Pond, but Amy Pond's other half is white-blue. Sky Shark Raider's other half is also white-blue. The Stalking Shadows black, if I'm not mistaken. That other half is also black. I don't remember what the other half of that is. That other half is black. That other half is blue, or at least Simic. That other half has blue. That other half has black. The Unredeemed is black. Youthful Geist is blue. The other half of that is blue. The other half of that has black in it. Power of the Free? Yeah. Bright Spear. Corvash Bright Flame. But that's only 2 colors. And that's weird dragon and knights combination nonsense. So none of that helps. Okay, so +1 counters, specifically with the S. We're just gonna go through the usual things. And anything else I see that that I like. Oh wait, Aragorn might be good in this deck. Attacking creatures in control have First Strike and Renown 1. When a creature with Renown 1 deals combat damage to a player, if it isn't Renowned, put a +1/+1 counter on it and becomes Renowned. And then when a Renowned creature you control deals combat damage to a player, double the number of +1/+1 counters on it. Well, good. That encourages aggro, and that's what we want. Each other creature you can control enters the battlefield with a number of additional +1/+1 counters on it equal to Arwen Weaver of Hope's toughness. Sure. If a source you control will deal damage to you, she gets that many +1/+1 counters. That is so interesting. Queen Among Bears, Banquet Guests. Oh, the Benevolent Hydra. We remember that much. That's about tokens. That's base power plus 1/1. Black Panther is. Oh yeah, that. Okay, that puts him on lands. What does she care about? That's creatures. Although we can move them. Hold on. But in moving counts as placing. I think I'm going to skip over that still, though. Just to not have to deal with it. We ignore. Sometimes we ignore good cards if we just don't want the headache. Bristly Bill, we're ignoring landfall. Although the number on each creature you control is actually probably too good to ignore. Bristly Bill's too good. Branching Evolution, of course, goes in here. Bright Palm Soul Awakener. Backup 1. And they can't be chump blocked, so we're good with this. Whenever this creature attacks, double the number of +1/+1 counters on target creature. That's what we're talking about. Whenever a creature control with a +1/+1 counter attack, double the number of +1/+1 counters on it. Yes, we want that. Okay. That has to do with equipment. Even though the tutor thing will probably never happen. Conclave Mentor puts additional counters on stuff. Okay, I like District Mascot because we can remove counters, destroy an artifact. There's another one for enchantments that should show up. We're going to use both of those. Is it do Erden? Oh, the vote over here is good. But she has to attack, but that's fine. Votes for profit or security, and then you get treasure for twice the number of profit votes, and +1/+1 counters on each creature for the number of security votes. That's good. And then we're also going to look for +1/+1 counter, and then button minus counters, so we don't get all of this again. Fractal Harness. Whenever equipped creature attacks, double the number of +1/+1 counters on it. I don't know if we're going to use this exactly. Generous Pup. Glunch the Bestower. Goldvein Hydra explodes into treasures. I still like that. Guide of Souls. Gruff Triplets. Oh, Halana and Elena, I'm glad they showed up because that's something that I was looking for. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, put X +1/+1 counters on this thing. Grows that thing's power. That's nice. That good old hardened scales. Hopeful Initiate was the other thing. It destroys artifact or enchantment, and it costs a little more. But yeah, it's another thing to destroy stuff with. Hopefully that one bug shows. Oh, that one bug doesn't show up. Didn't show up. I'm gonna have to look for it separately. Because it would have been right around here. Incandescent Horn Beetle. Hold on. Nope. HORNBEETLE. Iridescent Horn Beetle. There we go. We're going to go all the way down here to find the tokens. At the beginning of your end step, create a 1/1 green insect creature token for each +1/+1 counter you put on creatures under your control this turn. And then this one is whenever you attack with one or more non-gnome creatures, put a +1/+1 counter on her, and then create X gnomes that are tapping and attacking, where X is the number of those +1/+1 counters on her. I just like this card. She might come out. She might come back out later. What are we at? 79? Okay. Back in here. Increasing savagery. There we go. Invigorating Hot Spring. If we assuming we have room when we're done, we got to go for modified creatures you control have stuff on, for that. Oh, well, that's mildly interesting. Don't really care, though. If you're Monarch, and Jared would be dealt damage. You prevent that damage and it gets +1/+1 counters instead. Sacrifice 5 treasures. Oh yeah, that's treasures. Oh, Kami of Wizard Hopes. Which reminds me that we want both Ozlists as well. We're almost halfway through the alphabet. McKay is totally worth it. As long as it starts off mildly big at any rate. Put 3 +1/+1 counters onto one target creature with Trample or Haste. They have to have Trample or Haste already. Oh, that's the landfall double. That thing on Arena. This thing's a problem quickly if you don't deal with it. Ochre Jelly is funny. Whenever Ornery Tumblewag attacks while sidle, double the number of +1/+1 counters on target creature. That at least will give that one other creature more targets. Pelt Collector. Oh, Ozolith, the Shattered Spire. Yes, of course. This reminds me of that one unicorn that we want in this deck, whose name I don't remember, and I think it was just Celestial Unicorn, and we probably passed it by already. Prevent that damage. Yeah, we're not putting that one in this deck. Possessed Goat is weird. Power Fist. Equipped creature has trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player. We're not too worried about that. We're not putting this or doubling season in the deck. Scoot Mob. Again, we're... Oh, that's if you control 5 or more lands. We're still going to avoid landfall, though. Yep, there's our commander. As long as you put one or more +1/+1 counters on a creature this turn, she has trample and lifelink. Tell you what, that's a problem. So, oh, Sigarda's summons turn themselves base power and toughness 4/4 and flying in our angels. Oh, there we go. When he attacks, for each creature you control with power greater than their base power, they get more +1/+1 counters equal to the difference. All of the different spikes. Hey, there's the Brutish Thespian again. It is mildly interesting to see what shows up for different searches. Oh, Tribute to the Warrior just to get either card draw or +1/+1 counters. We're probably going to put the other eviler Vorinclex in here. Not the land one, but the +1/+1 counter one. We'll be doing that soon. Oh, this is the one that jealously gets more +1/+1 counters whenever +1/+1 counters are put on another creature. That's good. So we scroll to the top. We do this. We're at 87. We want the Ozo. Oh, hey, look, we have one piece of card draw. You know me, I'm really good about putting card draw in my decks. I'm just so great at it. I play the fairest of Magic. Hey, this thing has at like 2 hits at least, so that's not bad. +1/+1 counter. -0 counters. Just kind of want to see what comes up. Oh, I typed that wrong. X. That is telling me that I, or at least should wait a hot second. Yep. So bear with me for a hot minute while the we're just going to get that ahead of time. Minus blue, plus red. Ah, yeah. There we go. Oh, yeah. Outlast. I think, actually, I'm probably going to take out that one. And do this other stuff. Has first strike. Yeah, I'm specifically ignoring all the Johnnies as well, for the record. Yes, of course, all the Arcbounds. We're ignoring those. That one Enraged Dinosaur wouldn't be bad in this deck. Since, you know, it puts it on each other creature. Attacking creatures we control have Death Touch. That's just something we're going to put in the deck. Has nothing to do with the +1/+1 counter things that it can do. Cathar's Crusade. I don't think we're putting creatures onto the battlefield at the big enough rate. I want to probably put in the Virtue. I think it's Loyalty for white. Just scanning everything. Like, I don't have the cards memorized, but like I remember names that'll, you know, pull out memories of something maybe I want to use. I remembered the Celestial Unicorn exists, or whatever it's called. After this search, I'll just Celestial Archon. Yeah, Celestial Unicorn. Is that the thing that I'm thinking of? Should... Nope. I'm thinking of a different unicorn. It also might not be a unicorn. I'll look for it. But it's a white, it's like one white and a green. I really don't think I need to look through all of these. I kind of have an idea what I'm looking for. I want Vorinclex, the Monstrous Raider. We have 8 more. I imagine I have a billion D creatures in this deck. 24. Okay, not as many as I thought I did. Has trample. Has trample. But we're not going to go too deep on that. Oh, has reach. That's important. I'm surprised the other one that turns them into mana dorks isn't visible. RHYS. Anyway, whoops. Modified creatures. Okay, that's additional combat steps. Modified creatures can all have lifelink. Modified creatures you control have haste. Oh, that deals damage equal to the number of modified creatures you control. That grabs basic land, so that don't matter. Modified creatures control if you trample. I only wanted to put in the cheap ones. Now we're at 2. T Unicorn. Good Fortune Unicorn. There it is. Whenever another creature you control enters, it gets a +1/+1 counter. That's, boy, that's all I really wanted. That's all I really wanted to find. Is it also a zebra now? Due to... Nope. I wonder if zebras are just called horses. I don't know if they printed any other horses. Over here, so we are 1 away. We have no card draw. Well, we have basically no card draw. So for our last card, we are going to EDH Rec. Let's search artifacts. The boots. Oh, Great Henge. That's, and the greaves. I did not put anything to protect my commander in this deck. That's a fairly interesting choice on my part. But the Great Henge is at least card draw, so that's our second piece of card draw. Could we take out stuff for more card draw? Yes. We could take out any one of those 30 things in the counter section. We could take out any of the Outlast things that give our +1/+1 stuff bonuses. But we're not going to. So Naya +1/+1 counters. Switch it to unlisted. Like Bant, but minus blue and plus red. For what it's worth. And we have a lot of time to kill. So we're gonna... We are going to make another deck. We're just going to call it Naya for now. I'm going to try to find another T Legend, T Creature, Order, CMC, color equals Word. Would help if I spelled words correctly. I mean, it'd be mildly interesting to see where we can go with this face down gimmick. So let's set that as our commander. Let's see how far this can take us. But first, we gotta go back to this, and I'm just double checking. The lane still has 37. The ramp has 13, but we can fix that easily. The removal has 14. Oh, because it has District Mascot and Hopeful Initiate in it. So let's select all. Select all. Select all. Copy card names with quantities. Then go into here. Yeah, how many cards do you really get to choose when you put them in a commander deck, I wonder? Although I guess you can choose, like I choose not to have good card draw. You can also choose to not have good removal or ramp, so I guess it's all fair. District Mascot and the Hopeful Initiative. That brings us back down to 61. So we are going to search for the phrase face down. See what cares about the phrase face down. Whenever printer controls turn face up. Okay. It's a cyber ship for stealing stuff and turning it face down. If we were a stealing stuff kind of person. As you draft. Exile one face down. So we're getting a lot of stuff I don't care about with this particular. So let's add word face down creature. That is interesting. How about face space? See, now that's very interesting. So now if I do this, it'll get the exact same stuff. Okay, good. So for a face down creature, it has to have the hyphen. Look at target face down creature, we don't need that. Turn target face down creature and opponent controls face up, we don't need that. Whenever a face down permanent you control enters, and when Cryptid Inspector or another permanent you control is turned face up, she gets a +1/+1 counter, and she has Vigilance, so sure, that's fine. Face down creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. That's good, since we want to do that kind of thing. Turn target oh no, that's an instant, I don't care about that. Keeper the Lens. You can look at the face down creatures you don't control. Manifest Dread. Reveal target face down permanent. If it's a creature card, you may turn it face up. Okay. Whenever face down, oh, that gives. I mean, it has to attack, but that's fine. Found footage. You may look at face down creatures your opponent control anytime. Okay. You may look at the top creatures you don't control. Face down creatures you don't control. Face down creature. Face down spells cost less. And then we can turn it face down to make it a creature for some reason. Face down creature control face up, but you gotta sacrifice it. Not a fan of that last part. Primal Whisperer gets +2/+2 for each face down creature in play. That's interesting. But it doesn't have any stats that make me care about it, but it does have Morph. So we'll look at that. The next face down creature spell you costs 3 less. That's probably basically getting it for free. If turning a face down permanent face up causes a triggered ability of permanent control trigger, it triggers an additional time. Okay, that sold me on that. This gets +1/+1 counters. Don't worry, we're not going to put all the +1/+1 counter synergies into this deck since it's not. We get double mana for face down spells or to turn creatures face up, and it's also 4/4/4 with vigilance. I'm fine with that. Let's manifest dread. Oh wait, no, that searches for basic lands, which I don't care about. That also searches for basic land. Triumph of St. Catherine. Oh, yeah. Roar of the Old Gods. There we go. Whenever more face-down creatures control deal how much damage to a player, you draw a card. Whenever a face-down creature control dies, you can turn it face. You can return it, and then if it's a permanent, you can just turn it face up. So that's good. Put a flying counter on each face-down creature you control. Okay, that's already kind of neat. And then face-down creatures control enter with flying counters on them. That is also neat. And then you also cloak the top card of your library. Whenever you cast a colorless creature spell, manifest the top card of your library. And I think manifesting... No, morph... Does morph count as a colorless creature? Oh, but it has Ugin's name in it. Sorry, I don't want it. At the beginning of your end step, if a face-down creature entered the battlefield under control this turn, we put a +1/+1 counter on Tunnel Tempster. Sure, why not? Okay, so that is everything from here I feel I care about. I really don't want to read Phyrexian Portal. It's just too many words. Same with Mangar's Tome, and I highly doubt either of them do anything interesting for this deck. Whoops. Nope, face up. No thanks, whatever that was. So let's... Okay, this can destroy artifacts or enchantments when it's turned face up. That's cool. We're going to get a lot of these draft a thing face up. When this thing's turned face up, it deals 2 damage to each player. Its morph cost is absolutely ridiculous. Atarka the Free has Megamorph. It's a cheap Megamorph cost, at least. I mean, not counting the initial 3. Deals 1 damage to target creature or player. I'm not really sold on that. Oh yeah, so it's Disguise, Cloak, Manifest Dread, Morph, Megamorph. We'll be searching for those separate. Beast you control. Protect from the color of your choice. Oh, whenever a creature is turned face up, this thing gets +1/+ counter. I'm fine with that, especially since it's a 1/1 flyer for 2. That's not great, but at least theoretically. So Disguise, when it is turned face up, exile up to X other target creature cards. And then when she leaves those, go back to the owner's hands. That's mildly interesting, and we are in a deck with green in it, so that could be good. We could disguise our land. That is so weird. It's not worth it though, but that is so weird. Whenever a creature is turned face up, this deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Draft face up. Whenever a detective enters the battlefield under control, and whenever a detective you control is turned face up, put a ++ counter on it. Okay. To solve, you control 3 or more detectives. Okay. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus a clue are created instead. I don't think I need that. A clone shell does something completely different. Draft face up. Concealed weapon is funny but not good. Crowd control warden enters the battlefield. Or is turned face up. Put X plus 1 plus 1 counters on it, where X is the number of other creatures you control. Sure, why not? Draft face up. Destroy an enchantment. Sure, why not? Regenerate target creature. Target creature blocks if able. Whenever a opponent you control is turned face up, you may return this from your graveyard to the battlefield face up or face down. That's mildly interesting. Creatures and girls get slightly bigger butts until end of turn. Target card from your graveyard to your hand. And creatures with less power can't block it. That's mildly interesting. Okay. That's a little bit of recursion on there. Dog Walker. If it's turned face up, you get 2 dogs. Don't care about that. Creature control gain Hexproof until end of turn and untap them. It's also a 1/10. Good lord. Sure. Form familiar. Oh, it's you control. That's not as good as I thought it would be. When it's turned face up, search your library for up to 2 forest cards. It says forest cards and not basic. So that's good. Choose one or both. Nope, that's the instant. Okay, experiment 12. We like that. What does this do? Let's go over here. When you unlock this door, manifest dread, then put 2+1/+1 counters on and a trample counter on that creature. Then whenever creature control deals combat damage to a player, turn that creature face up or put a +1/+1 counter on it. Okay, I like both of those things. That's a neat room. Oh, that's expensive, but it gives all of our creatures trample. That puts a +1/+1 counter on a different creature. I'm fine with that. When it blocks, it deals 1 damage to you. Oh, it only wants to attack. Okay. When it dies, you get a whole bunch of snakes. If it has... Okay, I get it. It has morph for that, and if it's turned face up, you put 5 counters on it. Okay, we like that. And it makes a bunch of stupid snakes. Restore target creature power 4 or greater. Sure, why not? Each other dragon. I don't think we have a whole lot of dragons. Search your library for a dragon. When this is turned face up, you get the impulsive draw the top card of your library. Oh. When Corona's Zealot is turned face up, all damage that will be dealt to it this turn is dealt to target creature instead. That's amusing. I think we'll do the Ire Shaman. We just gotta be careful. Turn face up. Target creature gains haste until end of turn. That's not good enough. No. Creatures in control get +2/+2 until end of turn. Not good enough. Oh, draft face up. That's nonsense. Land card with a basic land type. Put it in your hand. Okay, I'm fine with that. Destroy an artifact or an enchantment. I'm fine with that. Gain 1 life for each other creature you control. Oh, and you can manifest the top card of your library. We're probably going to want, like, stuff that lets us scry and look at the top card, or otherwise look at the top card of our library. We'll do that after this, because we can always take, this is not as good as the other one. That's draft face up. Target creature gets giant growth until end of turn. That's until end of turn. That's garbage. Or another creature control is turn face up. That creature deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. That's good. Becomes a creature type of your choice. That's not good. Whenever print lifter ooze. Okay, that's took me a second. You get a ooze with +1/+1 counters equal to the number of other creatures you control. Okay, I'm fine with that. Oh, free card. Although it's a... It comes in face up, so... So actually, considering we want to put a lot of stuff face down, maybe this is not too great. Whenever another permanent you control is turned face up, if it's a creature, put 2/+1 counters on it, sure. Destroy target land, we're not... Like, there are lands that need to be destroyed, but I don't play in the circles where that's actually important. Turn face up on each other dragon. Each other dragon. 3 damage divided as it choose amongst the number of creatures. 2 damage to target creature, or to target creature player, yep. Summoner's Egg. Oh. Not helpful for the deck. Reveal a green card in your hand. Target creature gains trample in a turn. Oh, this one we can do fights. I'm fine with that. Saplings, that's nonsense. You know, we don't actually need this. Uba Mask. When another permanent controls face up, scry 1, then draw a card. Only once a turn. That's still draw. Creature the type of your choice. That's basic land again. That causes you to skip your next turn. That's no good. Destroy artifacts or enchantments. I'm fine with that. No. 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 Okay. So how many creatures did we get? Oh, that puts us at 30 creatures. So we do not we are done. We're kind of done with creatures, more or less. Oh, we're also at 98. I had another thing of stuff that I wanted to put in this deck, but like it just completely left my brain. Oh, other forms of card draw and stacking the top of our deck. So the two things that come to mind are, I'm going to look at here so we can look at them before I put them in the deck. Sensei. What is Sensei? Sensei's Divine Top. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. Yes. We don't care about the card draw. This is just to stack the top of our deck. And then Scroll Rack, which is that you exile cards from your hand, set them aside. Specifically, do not draw cards to put that many into your hand from the top of your library. And then you put the top card in your library in any order. But that's like, we're not exactly manifesting a whole lot of dread. I could have swore there was more stuff that gave bonuses to face down creatures. Oh, face down creatures. This deck can definitely get a lot, can have a lot of things done to it to improve it. Like a Dolmen's Gate probably isn't a bad idea. Like take out some of these creatures, some of the less good creatures maybe. Let's put this in grid style. So we got time. We can improve this deck today. Like, we'll look at the really expensive creatures. Oh, oops, we went too far down. Like, what is this? You may have your creatures fight. We don't need that. We're going to go down to 25. Artifact or enchantment. We're fine without that. This gets bigger, but like I said, it doesn't have any way to doesn't have any native like evasion. That's what I was going for. So we're fine with that. We like the hexproof until end of turn. We also like that it's a 1/10 on the ground. All damage that we dealt this turn, and then this can turn a chump block into a good block. And we don't have a whole lot of things that tell us to manifest, so it's not like we need a whole lot of things that have us look. We just have to be careful. Destroy artifact or enchantment. No. That's an overrunning effect. Controls power. Destroy target enchantment. There we go. We are down to down to 25 creatures. Yep. Now I have room for 5 other things that can look at the top of our library. So let's go to EDH Rec. Let's see what they care about. Let's go to Artifact. Manifest a card from your hand. Oh, I like that. Life Crafter's Bestiary. That is a... Oh, oh, I just realized, so Scroll of Fate, that's funny. Because that's 3 mana, that's a 3 mana a turn. That's sacrifice it, that's, but, I don't think that works how people think it works. Oh, that's a thing. Aha. That's... Power 2 or less. That is a... we just gotta remember all the letters in the words. Okay, she's kind of funny in this deck. But yeah, Delaney, Streetwise Lookout. The second part, not important. The not being blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater is important, I think. We could also do things like Dusk and that Battle for Bywater. But, like, that's only for our stuff. Oh, whenever another creature you control with power 2 or less enters, draw a card. See, look. It only happens once a turn. We have to pay one for that. But we are going to grab Welcoming Vampire. We just have to scroll down to it. Creatures your opponents control without flying or reach cannot block creatures with power 2 or less. That is also good. And then that's another draw card. There was another thing. Oh, it was in my head, but now it's gone. But we are at 100. Oh, and our creatures went back up to 29. That's what's funny. Like that, this should just go into counters because that's what it is. Stuff that allows us to look at the top card of our library at any time would also be good. We are at 100, but okay, so we're going to go back to grid because now we have 4 more creatures than we need. Oh, whoops, I forgot to put this back as types. So we start on the expensive side and then we work our way up. I still like this one. I still like this one. Put +1/+1 counters on it, equal the number of other creatures you control. I'm going to put the thing that I was thinking of. tribute. Because when it's turned face up, I'm fairly certain they keep their counters. So we still want to get rid of 4 creatures. Although maybe we don't. Because we would be cutting into the number of face-down creatures. But we could get rid of this, because this doesn't turn, it's not face down itself. There we go, I found the things. And this thing has to attack for its ability, so that's not that good. See, this is cheap. That's why I still support this one for destroying artifacts or enchantments. Return card from a graveyard to our hand. We like that. Forest cards. Destroys big creature. Does damage. Creates more creatures. Land with a basic land type. Exile the top card of our library. 5+1/+1 counters on it. It gets a counter, and this gets a counter, and it has reach. At the beginning of your end step, if face-down creature entered the battlefield and you control this turn, this thing... Oh, and it's also a mana dork. That doesn't hurt. I think we don't need that. You know what? We're going to gamble. There we go. We're back down to 25 creatures. So we have room for... We have room for 3 more things, because we put Tribute of the World Tree in. I am going to look up something really quick in a different window. I don't think turning it face up shouldn't... Yeah, so it should keep those counters on it. So, which is why I also want the Great Henge is another piece of card draw. Oh look, we have 11 pieces of card draw, although some of these are a little iffy. Two more. Though now that I have all of these card drawn, I kind of want to go back to the creatures I removed and maybe put some of them back in. So, because also it's okay to be done with this episode. So let's go to deck history, added removed cards. We can have 2 more cards in the deck. We're going to put back in the Essence of Antiquity, add back to deck. And yep, that's the It Gets It Itself. That's the It Gets It Itself. Okay, and those were those ones that I felt were too expensive. Okay, 99. 26 creatures, I'm fine with that. Oh, I guess we just go back to EDH Rec and see if something happens. The Arabelle is kind of funny, but whoops, we don't need that. So, enchantments. Oh, I remember now. It was Guardian Project, because none of those creatures have a type. So they can't share a card type. That's our 100th card. We're just going to call this Face Down. There we go. If you don't get it, don't worry about it. Wow, yeah, no, that last one went more interesting than I thought it would. Naya, once again, not one of my favorite color combinations. Man, anything white-green, I kind of get tired on. Although, then again, Jun didn't do me any favors either, did it? Well, that's all for this week. Next week, for a good old preview, is we start in with the shards, no wedges, because it's V-shaped, if you look at the back of a magic card. But Abzan, I have one thing here, but I have other ideas for Abzan. That's going to be a more fun week than this week, I tell you what. See you then.